Okay.
Do you want to, can we start by talking about different organizations you've been involved with?
Yes. Are you talking necessarily about gay organizations,
No,
LGBTQ?
just things
Well,
you've been involved with over your life.
oh, sure. So when I finished college,
Hmm.
I immediately got a job with Eastman Kodak Company in Rochester, New York. So that's where I went. And I worked there for 12 years. And that was my first experience of traveling throughout this country and doing, having the courage to do worldwide travel and all of that. so, and so after being there for a while, I decided to go back to college to get my master's degree in clinical social work. And so, um, rather than community social work, with an eye toward being a psychotherapist. And so after working in a couple of mental health agencies, I opened up my own private practice and I started taking on clients. And so I became a part of the National Association of Clinical Social Workers and became I also became a school social worker at the same time because I had to manage both jobs. One was secure and being a psychotherapist and being in private practice, things went up and down. So I just, and I had the energy to do it. And I wanted the diversity of all ages of people, families, individuals, adolescents, preschool kids, um, elderly, gay, straight, alcoholic abusers, uh, victims of abuse, whoever walked through the door. So, because, it's a matter of working with people who are struggling with human anguish and loss and struggles and views of themselves and all of the things that get in our way of being the very best of ourselves.
Hmm.
So, so I did a lot of work as a psychotherapist. I belonged to, at the time, in New York State, we had psychiatric centers, state-run psychiatric centers, and they wanted an outside group of volunteers to make sure that the people who were in psychiatric centers as patients were being treated well.
Do you know about
So,
what year it was?
oh, well, it must have been, I want to say about 2000.
Okay.
I want to say about 2000. And so I was part of the board of governors, and that I was appointed
Oh, cool.
by the governor to be a part of the board of governors to oversee the psychiatric center in Rochester, New York. So that was, and so there were 2 terms of doing that. So that was an important organization.
Yes. Right.
Um, and I belong to the National NAACP, of course, and um, but in terms of being a part of the LGBTQ community, I was a part of an organization called MOCA, which was Men of Color Health Association, Men of Color Health Association. Yeah, MOCA, MOCHA. And I also of AIDS Rochester.
Oh.
And so it was through those 2 organizations that I really developed a deeper involvement in some of the scarier parts of being gay and the gay community,
Hmm.
because that's when we began to hear about this disease that we began to call AIDS, autoimmune deficiency syndrome. And I decided I was going to do something about it.
Hmm.
So being a part of MOCA was to help Black men become aware of not only themselves in terms of being Black and in this country, and also being gay, and also dealing with issues of health and taking care and protecting themselves. But for 20 years, no, for 10 years, I was a volunteer for the AIDS vaccine project, which meant that every week I would go in, um, be injected with a virus that was manufactured in the lab. So it wasn't a lab virus, but you'd be injected, and then you'd go in the next week, and you would be tested to see if your body produced antibodies, and all of the vital signs were recorded, and then you go back and you had it done over and over again. So that was for 4 years, and then in between you had to stop for 2 years, and then I volunteered for 4 more years. I talked to my family, told them this is what I was doing, my birth family. I talked to my spouse and our son, so that Steve and I both agreed, and we let Charles know that this is what I was doing, because everybody was afraid. There was all those kinds of judgments. How do you know, as a black man, that they're really not setting you up for the kind of experiments they did with speaking and the sacks, not the sacks, I'll think of her name, and all kinds of maltreatments to the medical and health system of black men and women. So, so there was all of that had to contend with. And then there was the response of people who knew that I was doing this, who I lost friendships. There were some family members who certainly would not accept me. And in between the 2 years, when I wasn't actively involved in the vaccine trials, I would go around to churches and say, especially black churches, this is a disease that is not just for white folks. This is our brothers and sisters, our mothers, our uncles and aunts and grandfathers who are becoming infected with this disease. We need to be a part of looking for a solution. Well, I was asked to leave the church. I would be called the devil. People would walk out. Ministers would stop me in the middle of it. I mean, it was just, but I kept going because somebody had to tell my people. And what do you mean it's our grandfathers and our uncles? We're Christians. I would just get a little crazy at that time because we all knew many, quote, Christians who were also on the lowdown, still having sex with people of the same sex. So, and so the hypocrisy had to be addressed. And yes, there was some of them were your grandparents and your cousins and uncles, and your ministers. I mean, so let's not blind ourselves because this is life and death. So anyway, becoming being a part of those two organizations in terms of the LGBT community was really important to me, and to be able to have interviews such as this, to be photographed, to be have a card from the Center for Disease, CDC, was because if I traveled outside of the country and if I tried to get back in and I was tested, or they knew that I had been a part of the vaccine trials, if I didn't have this card from the CDC, I might not have been able to come back in. I had to carry it with me every time I went to a medical appointment. And I have to say, I am having this experience. It wasn't until, so my time was taken up with that and with organizations to deal with racism against my people, against the lynching and murdering of black people. So I didn't have time for many other organizations until I came to Rhode Island. And and said, I'm coming out now as an older person, as an ancient person. So I need to bring my life experience and look for support for myself at this time of my life. I know about the other times and the other ages, but this time. So I tried to join a couple of other organizations. Oh, and I was a part of the buddy program.
Okay.
And when I was in Rochester, because during the AIDS program time, uh, you know all the stories about the hospitals and the nurses and doctors who wouldn't treat AIDS patients, the families would not come, many of them dying alone. In the Buddies program, I would go into the hospitals and pray with these young men, hold their hands, talk to them, be in their presence, sing a song, just put a hand on them and say, I'm not afraid. I know touching you is not going to cause me to get AIDS. I don't need to be afraid of you. And but for the grace of God go I, because some of us have had the same unprotected sexual experiences. So when I moved here, I tried to be a part of the Buddies program, and that didn't work. That's another story,
Huh.
because it has such value in itself that I don't want to talk about why that didn't work and detract from those who certainly may want to be a part of it. But Sage, when I contacted Sage, they were willing to meet with me and have our conversation. And then I joined the board, and then I did programs all over the state for them. I love doing educational programs, and so put me in front of an audience, give me Jen Silence, or at some of the colleges or universities to talk to nursing staff about issues of working with people of different sexual expressions. And so that's where I put my energy. I belong to a lot of other boards for a lot of other things, but I do know that I'm at my best when my energy is focused towards something that has a personal connection to me at that time in my life. And Sage, and for those who may hear this and not know, Sage was Sage is for Service and Advocacy for Gay Elders, and now we add LGBTQ, whatever, and people of ancient heritage. So here I am doing this.
Do you want to talk about how you met your partner?
Yes. So at this moment in time, I can say that next year Steve and I will have been together
We're good.
50 years.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. We will have been married, I think about 15 years in September. And when we were together about 5 or 6 years, um, one of my brothers and his wife, they had 3 children, and they were unable to manage their lives and therefore unable to manage being good parents to these good children. And so the state was going, this was in Delaware, the state was going to remove them from the home and take them into state custody. And my mother said, oh no, we don't do that. Not in our community and not in this home. So she asked 2 of my sisters to take the 2 girls. And our son Charles was the youngest, and he was 4. And my mother said, Freeman, you and Steve have no children. Why don't you take Charles?
That's awesome.
Just like that. She was not interested in our sexual life or all of it. She was interested in knowing that we would be with family, and the family who had a good, decent relationship and that she could trust and rely on. And I said yes, and Steve said no.
Oh no!
Well, it's understandable. We had a good life together. We were traveling, we bought a home, we had friends, we were working in our careers. And so we had no experience of raising a child, or at least he didn't. But I'm one of 16. I knew how to parent. I knew how to cook, clean, wash, sew, iron, change diapers, discipline, because we grew up parenting each other, you know, having those skills. And so, uh, so he said, but I don't have them. I'm not interested in me. So a year later, we had more conversations about it. And uh, so he said, I'm still not ready to do this. And I said, I fully understand it and all the reasons, and I understand the feelings behind it. But I would like to know if you're willing to do this, not because you want to, but because it's important to me. And he said, yes.
Yeah.
You gotta love someone who can move beyond themselves, you know, in a relationship and take on an experience that they don't know how it will be or what it will cost them or what will what will work out and what wasn't. And I have to say, I was a very good parent in my way, but I was family and I was blinded to certain emotional support systems that Charles did. Steve was wonderful. He was extraordinary. There were roles he took on that I could not have done. Or, I mean, I could have done them, but certainly I wouldn't have had the objectivity to do them well. So that's how things are now. And Charles is 40 and he has his own life, etc. 45 really. But I met Steve at a dance concert, the Utah Repertory Ballet Dance Company. I just come back from working in Texas. I had my big Texas hat, my Texas shirt and my polo, and I had my shirt open down to here and cowboy boots and blue jeans. It was almost like a costume because I had been to these cultural events before, in which I was the only black person there. So having a kind of dress or costume was a kind of protection, a kind of layer between me and being looked at and looking around and seeing no one like me, and the kinds of unthinkable, um, what we call racial microaggressions that occurred. And so there was sort of like an armor. And so here I was at this concert, and I looked around, and coming up the stairs is this man with this massive dark red hair, a red shirt, and a yellow jacket thrown over his shoulder like a cape. And I thought, I mean, there are times when we know that we are drawn toward a love, not just a person, but a love experience that will last. And I knew it. And if you ask Steve about it today, I say, I fell in love with you at first sight. And he says, I fell in lust with you at first sight. And I said, bring it on. That's fine with me. So you're dealing with
Hello.
hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
You're fine. So you're dealing with a relationship in which is Steve is Jewish and white. I am black and grew up in a Protestant Baptist religion. Um, and all of what that means in terms of societal's um, uh, casting an eye on this relationship and imagining what it's like and imagining that we are engaging in the stereotypes of our sexuality and sexual expressions, or um, just and raising a child. And are you going to make him be gay? You know, art. I mean, it's just unthinkable.
Mm.
When we take it to the doctor, we go for parent-teachers meetings, and they would say, "Well, which one of you? Who's the parent here?" And we say, "Both of us."
Yeah.
Uh, all, and we're talking about 40 years ago. Uh, to have to come face to face with all that, and how that would either strengthen our relationship or the stressors that society would bring onto dealing with society would bring into those. Even today, I can tell you. So not so much now because we're both retired, but we do a lot of volunteer work. But even when we were working, I would say to Steve, we get up in the morning, we have breakfast together, we get to the door, we kiss each other goodbye and say, "Have a great day." And he goes out into one world, a white world, and I go out into another.
Mm.
And then when we come home, and the question is, "How is your day?" Then, since every single day that I can remember, knew about racism, I experienced some level of racism every single day.
Mm.
It may be through advertisements or being erased from advertisements, something you hear on the radio, the news, direct experiences, things said in your hearing, whatever. And some days you let it go deep, some days you let it go in one ear and out the other, some days it slaps you in the face, some days you swallow it along with the rage. But, and so when he says, "How was your day?" I have to edit out how much of those things that I want to bring into our relationship. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to let racism out there be a home wrecker to our relationship. But yet, also, he's the person with whom I share everyday life experiences. So how much do you share
Mm-hmm.
that's real and authentic to how your day is, and how much do you keep out there inside? Yeah? So it's been an extraordinary life experience to live and love someone for 49 years and wake up this morning and hear him say, "Hey, go have a great day." Yeah?
Oh, that's
So,
so sweet.
yeah, and to have, we came from such different worlds. Yeah?
Let's do
Okay.